The Japanese thought they had the upper hand. They had the numbers, the weapons, the strategy, but what they didn't expect: a handful of cunning Australians fighting deep in the jungles, using guerrilla tactics so effective that they turned the tide of battle. As the Japanese advanced, Australia had to respond quickly. They formed secret units trained in guerrilla warfare, ready to defend their homeland. They didn't have the manpower to go toe-to-toe with the Japanese, so they fought smarter. This is the untold story of how Australian forces outfoxed Japan with sabotage, deception, and hit-and-run tactics that left the enemy in chaos. These guerrilla tactics were highly effective, leveraging the element of surprise and intimate knowledge of the terrain to disrupt Japanese operations and supply lines, causing significant confusion and losses. By 1942, Japan had conquered vast territories in the Pacific. They had already bombed Darwin, killing hundreds, and the threat of invasion loomed over Australia. Traditional warfare wasn't an option. Australia simply didn't have enough troops to hold off the Japanese juggernaut. But what if they could fight without being seen? What if they could strike in the dead of night and vanish into the jungle? That's exactly what they did. Australia's answer to the Japanese threat came in the form of elite commando units and resistance fighters. Groups like the Z Special Unit Coast Watchers and the independent companies used guerrilla tactics that completely disrupted Japanese operations. Here's how they did it. The Coast Watchers, silent eyes in the jungle. Hidden across enemy-occupied islands, these Australian spies gathered intelligence, monitored Japanese movements, and relayed crucial information back to Allied forces. Their work saved thousands of lives, including in the pivotal Battle of Guadalcanal. Z Special Unit, the Ghost Warriors. Imagine sneaking into Japanese-occupied ports in tiny submarines, planting explosives and slipping away unnoticed. That's exactly what the Z Special Unit did in the daring Operation Jaywick, where they destroyed Japanese ships in Singapore Harbor. The independent companies, Jungle Commandos. Fighting in the dense jungles of New Guinea and Timor, these commandos became experts in ambush tactics. Using hit-and-run attacks, booby traps, and psychological warfare, they made life hell for Japanese troops who thought they were safe. The turning point. Japan's frustration grew. Their supply lines were disrupted, their patrols were ambushed, and their morale was crumbling. Australian guerrilla tactics had done what conventional armies couldn't: stall Japan's advance and force them into a defensive position. By 1943, Japan's plans for expansion were collapsing, and Australia's shadow warriors had played a huge role in that downfall. The legacy of Australia's guerrilla warriors. These men weren't just soldiers, they were innovators. Their tactics influenced modern special forces and showed the world that strategy and intelligence can defeat brute force. After the war, many of these guerrilla fighters returned to civilian life, but their contributions were not forgotten. Their tactics and strategies were studied and adopted by military forces worldwide. The bravery and ingenuity of these men have left a lasting legacy on modern warfare. Amid the dense, unforgiving jungles, these men forged unbreakable bonds. Hear the personal accounts of the heroes who fought in the shadows. Their stories of courage, resilience, and brotherhood paint a vivid picture of the human spirit in the face of adversity. John Jack Smith, a young recruit, recalls the moment he realized the gravity of their mission. Every day felt like a lifetime, but it was the camaraderie that kept us going. We were more than soldiers, we were brothers. Another veteran, Robert Bob Jones, shares his harrowing experience of survival. We were outnumbered and outgunned, but surrender was never an option. We relied on our wits and each other. Those nights in the jungle, they taught us what it means to truly fight for your life. And then there's Thomas "Tom" Williams, who speaks of the emotional toll. We lost friends, brothers, but their spirit stayed with us, driving us forward. It was a brutal reality, but it also showed us the profound strength of the human spirit. These personal stories are a testament to the resilience and bravery of those who fought in the shadows. They remind us that history is not just about battles and strategies, but about the people who lived through them. Today, memorials and ceremonies honor these unsung heroes. Their sacrifices and achievements are remembered by a grateful nation, ensuring that their story is passed down through generations. In cities and towns across Australia, plaques, statues, and memorial gardens stand as silent witnesses to their bravery. Each year, on commemorative days, families and veterans gather to pay their respects, sharing stories and keeping the flame of memory alive. At these events, the names of the fallen are read aloud, a poignant reminder of the human cost of warfare. Younger generations listen intently, learning about the courage and resilience of those who came before them. It's a solemn yet uplifting moment, as the legacy of these jungle warriors is etched into the collective consciousness of a nation. By honoring their memory, we ensure that their sacrifices are never forgotten, and their stories continue to inspire future generations. And yet, their story remains largely untold, but now you know the truth. Want more hidden stories of wartime genius? Hit subscribe and dive into history's greatest secrets.